What's going on, folks? Welcome back to the channel. I'm Andy Electric Geek, and in this video we're going to be talking about all things the Batman on 4K Blu-ray. This has been a hotly anticipated release for everyone in the kind of Blu-ray collecting community, and I was no exception to that rule. I went ahead and pre-ordered myself the Hmv exclusive Steelbook box set of the Batman, although I have had an issue with it, which we'll get into later on. But in this video we'll mainly be focusing on, of course, the video and audio quality of the transfer itself, but towards the end of the video I will do a little bit of an unbox just to show you what this set consists of, and we'll talk about the special features also. So you can decide whether or not it's worth your while picking up the Batman on 4K Blu-ray, as if you're not going to, or more accurately, whether or not you're going to go for the standard or some kind of Steelbook. There's a few editions out there, but as I say, I'll be focusing mainly on this HMV one. So stick around and we'll get into it after the break. So first up, we're going to talk about the video presentation. So first thing we should note is that it is a 4K native transfer of the Batman, and the HDR grading is in Dolby Vision. The cinematographer for the Batman was Greg Fraser, who also worked on the movie Dune, and similar to Dune, what he's done is he's filmed digitally, transferred it over to a film print on 35mm or whatever, and then transferred it back again to create the digital intermediate. So what happens there is you get the precision of a digital image, but he's also picking up the best of both worlds, if you like, because he's getting that natural filmic look and the natural grain that comes as a result of transferring it to film. So that's kind of what to expect. If you've seen Dune, then the Batman looks quite similar when it comes to the kind of the clarity and the overall filmic look. I personally like it. I think it's a stylistic choice, obviously, which goes with the theme of the movie. Matt Reeves has gone for a kind of 90s grunge noir look, if you like. It's a very dark film. It's a Batman film. You know what you're getting into, really. So as I say, it's maybe not for everyone. HDR is going to make it really dark. There are some scenes that are really, really dark, and it sets the stage nicely when it comes to HDR and Dolby Vision, because those highlights can get really, really bright against that dark backdrop. Speaking about the resolution though, there are clear signs that it's a native 4K transfer. The lenses that they've used to film it, I'm not an expert when it comes to cameras, however, it's very sharp towards the centre of the image, usually wherever the subject is, but there is very apparent softening towards the outside of the image, and that might put some people off that are right into that digital kind of 4K crispy look. As I say, it didn't bother me because I felt it was quite clearly a stylistic choice, but just bear that in mind when you go to watch it if you pick it up in 4K. Some of the close-ups are super detailed though, like for example when Batman finds himself at the GCPD after he gets caught in that explosion, and there's a scene where all the cops are over the table and the medic's kind of shining a torch in his eye. You can see all the little bits of wear and tear, and the texture of the kill is fantastic, and that's when you kind of know that there's nothing wrong with the detail as such, it's just the way it's been filmed. So I was quite happy with it, albeit it's probably not reference when it comes to just, you know, something that's really, really crisp. Moving on to Dolby Vision though, and it is very, very good. The highlights are there throughout. The first kind of glimpse of it you get is when Robert Pattinson emerges for the first time as the Batman and takes on that gang of thugs. One of the thugs decides to put 2 slugs in his chest and they kind of bounce off his armour. The sparks are proper bright. Really noticeable, more so over the Blu-ray, because I checked the Blu-ray and they're just not quite as dynamic and exciting looking. Also in that fight, when he grabs one of the thugs, he kind of tasers one of them. That's much more intense and contrasts nicely against the rest of the dark image. Then whenever you get an explosion, so like when Gil Coulson explodes, that's proper eye-searingly bright. There's a few times I watched it with the wife in a properly dark room, and it does kind of make you flinch a bit. It's that bright. You have to kind of screw your eyes when you're watching it, especially the explosions that take up the whole screen, like during that awesome Batmobile chase, but we'll get to that later in the audio section. But yeah, when it comes to the Batman video-wise, is it proper demo? I wouldn't quite say so. There are a few scenes that are demo-worthy, but I'm very happy with the overall picture quality. As I say, it's crisp enough, it's very filmic, and the Dolby Vision is awesome. Definitely a cut above the regular Blu-ray. So for the video presentation, I'd probably go 4 out of 5. Moving on to the audio, and we have Dolby Atmos, and you get the Dolby Atmos on both the 4K disc and the Blu-ray. Straight up, it's a cracking Atmos track. You know, there's plenty to showcase here. You've got that awesome Michael Giacchino score that goes on throughout. That opening sequence again when he batters the thugs, like every single hit, if you've got a good setup, like the bass there, the bass that accompanies each punch is awesome. You really feel it in your chest when he starts beating up the thugs. For some reason, it just rains constantly in Matt Reeves' Gotham as well, so the height channels are kind of constantly going with atmospherics for the rain, certainly. There's a few helicopter sequences in the film as well, and you really hear them panning overhead as you would kind of expect from Atmos. Also, in that opening sequence when the Riddler takes down the mayor, just as he kind of, you know, racks the tape, when it cuts to the next scene, there's a crack of thunder, and that's the first time you really prominently hear the height channels kick in. So I would say it's a very active and dynamic Atmos mix when it comes to the height channels. But if you were to ask me, Andy, what's the best bit to demo on the disc, it's definitely the Batmobile chase. I actually think that's the best sequence in the whole film. The Dolby Vision there is great, you know, when you first reveal the Batmobile, the highlights are great there, the contrast of the, you know, the kind of glow of the engine and the vents is awesome in Dolby Vision, and the sound of the Batmobile is incredible. It proper shakes the floor. You have to kind of hear it to believe it. It is very, very good. I was kind of worried because in the cinema that was so awesome, and I thought there's no way that's going to transfer over to like a home cinema system, but it really does. It's proper awesome, and that whole chase sequence is proper demo. The only slight complaint I have with the audio is that I had to have it up a bit louder than I would normally listen to. So if you watch my videos before, I tend to listen to my movies at around about 15, and I found myself having to put it up to about 18 to 20, depending on what was happening. I did have to kind of ride the remote a little bit. Sometimes it can be quite difficult to make out the dialogue, so just be ready to have it up a bit louder. What I will say is though, the dynamic range isn't massive, so you're not going to blow your speakers if you have it up too loud. So for the audio, I'm going to go with a 4.5. I would give it 5 out of 5, but as I say, just that little complaint about the dialogue stopped it from getting full marks. But cracking track and definitely some demo sequences. So that kind of wraps up the video and audio. Now on to the unbox. So this is the HMV exclusive steelbook of the Batman, and it's pretty cool that it comes with this rigid slipcase. It just offers a bit of protection to the steelbook because they scratch so easily. But yeah, inside you get the steelbook, which I like the design of, I have to say. Nice and clean looking, just the same as it's on the rigid slip, but pretty cool. And it's a 3-disc set, so you get your 4K disc, your standard Blu-ray, and then you get that dedicated disc of special features, which you can see inside there. Inside it's to the Batman, just the same as in all the letters in the movie that the Riddler sends to the Batman. I think it's a nice design, but I think some of the other steelbooks that are kicking around parts of Europe maybe have the edge on it, but I'm quite happy with this one. Furthermore, to the steelbook, I have this cool Batman envelope. Quite like the artwork on that. It's cool that it's different, and there's obviously to the Batman, as we discussed. Opening up, and in here you get a fold-out poster, which I haven't actually seen before, so it's pretty cool. And then you have the art cards. Now this is where my gripe is. So for some reason I got duplicate cards, so I got 2 of the Selina Kyle Catwoman ones. Now I know it's a total first world problem, but when you're spending £35 for a collector's set and you don't get everything that everyone else is getting, or you're supposed to get, then that's quite annoying. So I got into them, I sent them an email, and they basically explained that there's nothing they could do about it. It's now sold out, and it's obviously not HMV themselves, it's in control of the cards and whatnot, and the exclusive content that's inside it. So I asked if they could just send me out. It's the Penguin one that's missing, but they couldn't do that. So what they did was they offered me a 10% refund. So they gave me £3.50 back, which is nothing really, isn't it? I'd rather just have the card or have a complete set, but it's not the end of the world. They'll probably just stay in that wallet and never see the light of day anyway, but it's just a little bit annoying when you don't have the complete set. But yeah, it's pretty nice. That's the cards, just minus the Penguin one, obviously. So when it comes to special features on the Batman in 4K, they are a plentiful. So there's over 2 hours, and it's actually on a separate disc. So with this 4K, as you'll have seen in Unbox, you get the 4K, the Blu-ray, and then you get a Blu-ray just full of extra special features. I've not watched them all yet, but there is one main kind of making of. It's about 55 minutes long, and then there's a good like dozen almost of, you know, kind of 5 to 10 minute featurettes, which are awesome. I've watched the one all about how they made up Colin Farrell's Penguin. That was quite interesting. It's about like 8 minutes long or something. The Batmobile ones, because after I watched it and seen how fantastic that scene was again, I just wanted to know everything I could about how they made the Batmobile. But they're really, really good. You know, they're not the notional promotional ones you get. They are kind of deep dives into every element, and I'm really enjoying going through them. Obviously you get the deleted scenes on it as well, so you get that Joker scene, which pretty much everyone's probably seen on YouTube and went viral, didn't it? But you get that, and you get it with commentary also. And then there's another deleted scene, which is one of Zoe Kravitz's Catwoman and Colin Farrell's Penguin. Not as significant, but definitely worth watching, and it's quite cool getting the commentary over it. There's also a featurette on it called Gotham Planning, which I was quite interested to watch. It's about 15 minutes, and it's pretty good because If you didn't know, parts of the Batman were actually filmed in the UK, mainly Liverpool and Glasgow, which is obviously just up the road from where I stay in Ayrshire. So it's really worth checking out, and it kind of goes into those locations, which is pretty cool, seeing behind the scenes footage of it. So when it comes to special features, you definitely won't be disappointed. I think Warner Bros have done pretty well with the Batman. You'd expect it to have as many special features as this. You know, No Way Home was another massive release that came out a few months ago, and I don't think it had quite as good as special features as the Batman has, so pat in the back for Warner Brothers. So can I recommend that you spend your hard-earned cash on the Batman in 4K? Of course I can. It's a cracking disc. Plenty of good special features on it. All round, it's just a really good package. Alright, the video quality on it maybe isn't absolute demo throughout, but it's a cracking presentation, and I think the Dolby Vision is a big upgrade over the Blu-ray, so the 4K is definitely the way to watch the Batman. So that's it for another 4K Blu-ray review on the channel. If you've enjoyed the video, folks, please consider giving it a wee like, and if you want to see more of this content, then of course you can subscribe as well and put your notification bell on so you get notified when my next video drops. I'm currently sitting on just short of 400 subscribers, so please help me get to that 400. I'd like to get to 500 by the channel anniversary, which should be around about the end of July, so join the fight, share the video, let people know all that good stuff, and see if we can get more people in the community and hit that 500 subscriber milestone. It'd be much appreciated. But before you go, of course, hit up the comment section as well. Let me know what you think of the Batman. Did you enjoy it? Where do you think Matt Reeves' Batman ranks amongst the other live action Bat films? And ultimately, did you get it in 4K? Which version did you pick up? Let me know in the comments below. I'd like to know your thoughts. That's all I've got for you today. I've been Andy Electric Geek. Take care, and I'll see you in the next video.